What's going on, everybody? Gonna go ahead and do another knife slash multi-tool review for everyone. And the knife that we're going to be looking at today, or actually the two knives you're looking at, this is the Victorinox Pioneer, and in front of it you have the Victorinox Cadet. Well used Cadet. This one's been dropped on the ground multiple times. This was my former EDC, lightweight multi-tool EDC. I was carrying it to work for quite a while, and I really do like it. But I wanted something just a little bit more substantial and also with some additional features, which we do have on the Pioneer, and I'll go ahead and show you. But first I just wanted to do a size comparison between the two for anyone that's interested. You can see that the Pioneer is definitely longer. As far as the diameter, it's also wider, and it's also a little bit taller, I believe. Well, no, it's not. As far as they're pretty similar in, I guess you'd call that taller. It depends on how you would measure that. But mainly, it's not as thin as the Cadet, and the handle's not as long, and that you can kind of see there. So move the Cadet out of the way, and let's go ahead and talk about the Pioneer. Now, the reason why I wanted to buy this knife, again, was because I wanted something a little bit more substantial for my EDC, primarily at work. And sometimes I carry a medium-sized multi-tool that's much larger than this with the pliers. But in the summer months when I'm wearing less clothing, sometimes you just want to carry something a little bit lighter. And that's pretty much what I've been doing with this. Now, is this going to be a groundbreaking review that reveals something to you about this knife that someone else has not already mentioned? No, it's not. And I wanted to put that out there up front, but I also just want to channel this to you guys. I don't know if you're this way, but when I buy a new knife, or I'm looking to buy a new knife or a new tool, or anything for that matter, I always look on YouTube, I look at the other reviews, and I want to get as many people's opinions as possible about what they think of these products before I make my own decision to buy it. And that's pretty much why I'm doing this review, as well as many of my other reviews. So that's the goal of this, is just to share my thoughts and opinions on the knife. Not going to go over specs because you can find those online. I'll put those in the description if you want them. But mainly it's just my opinion. Now, I don't use a lot of tools at work. Primarily my tasks that I do multi-tool wise are just going to involve a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, maybe hanging some things on the walls. So sometimes I have to punch holes in walls to put anchors into them and screw things into the wall. Just little odd fixes, but nothing pretty major. I don't carry a lot of tools around, and if I do need them, I do have access to a full-size selection of tools at my work. But so this is perfect for me. And basically, I'm going to go over the tools. Now, you guys have mostly probably seen your typical standard Victorinox plain edge blade. Not a whole lot to say about this other than it is a pretty thin blade and it cuts very well. Have used this one quite a bit, mostly for opening boxes and things like that. But it's a very thin blade, so it cuts very well, takes a very sharp edge. Doesn't last an incredibly long time, but it's very simple and very easy to touch up. Not a whole lot to say about that, other than the fact that it's a tried and true design and it just works. It's non-locking. It does have reasonable pressure that you have to press to close it, but you know, you want to be careful when you're using it. You don't want to do anything too difficult as far as work goes, because you don't want to cut yourself. But that's something to keep in mind. Now, the main thing I like about this Pioneer over the Cadet is I like the size, for one, of the handle. But let's say if I'm using one of the screwdrivers, let's say I'm using the driver here, the flat head screwdriver. Pull it out. And this is something that happened to me while I was using the Cadet. I was using the Cadet's flathead screwdriver. Let me get to focus here. And it's considerably smaller, and it has a smaller handle than the Pioneer. So I was working above my head. I was unscrewing a light cover, actually, And I don't know if you've ever done that, but you kind of want something to grab onto when you're trying to unscrew something. And I really couldn't get a good grip on the Cadet. Didn't have a whole lot to grip onto, so I thought, well, why don't I try something just a little bit bigger? Now, if we look at the two tools, it's not considerably bigger, just a little bit, but the main thing is that the handle is wider and larger, so I had something better to grip onto for when I'm trying to unscrew things. And that was my biggest thing, was just if you actually put these tools to use, the Pioneer is much more comfortable to me to use. But on the other hand, the Cadet's much more comfortable to carry. It's a lighter weight, it's thinner, it just rides better in pocket. Now, how do I carry this? Let me go ahead and show you guys that. Let me find where my wallet is. Here it is. In my back right side pocket, this is my wallet, Carhartt front pocket wallet. You guys have seen that. I have a review on that. But this rides in my back right pocket, and then the Pioneer sits right beside it. And that keeps it right in place. It doesn't fold this ways in my pocket. It just stays right there. It's really comfortable. This isn't any thicker than my wallet, and my ID's on the other side, so I don't want to show you that. But you can see it's the same depth, same thickness. So when it sits right beside my wallet, it fits really well in my pocket. I don't have any problems with it, and I don't even notice it's there anymore. So that's how I carry it. And, you know, I really like the tools on this. Again, I like the larger handle and the ability to use the drivers more efficiently. Now, again, this is the flathead driver. It's also a bottle opener, and as well as a wire stripper right here. I don't strip wires very often, and usually when I do, I have a full set of wire strippers, wire cutters, but I have been told that this works pretty well. Mainly, if you do use it, you might want to cut the insulation on the wire first just a little bit with your knife, and then put the wire in and pull it out. But it does work. Bottle opener works. The driver works really well. You've also got a can opener, and what I like to use mostly as a Phillips screwdriver. But this is also a can opener and a thin driver up on top that can be used for Phillips or a smaller flathead, as well as the can opener. And the main tool that I actually like, and I really like having, is the Reamer. Now, many people think this is just for wood as well as some other things to make holes, but what I actually use this for all the time is starting a hole inside of drywall or other types of materials that you're going to put an anchor in. Let's say you need to hang a picture frame and you need to start that hole. This Reamer works perfectly for that. And you just punch it in, you start your hole. You can go deeper if you want the hole wider, because as you can see, it's kind of tapered on the Reamer. It's thinner right here as opposed to back here. And if you want it even wider, you can kind of move it around, you know, like this ways as you're putting it into the hole, and you can make that hole bigger to use your anchor. So that's what I use this primarily for, but it's also a great tool to have for many other things as well. And that's pretty much it. These are my favorite, not my favorite, these are the tools on the Pioneer here. Just one thing to mention is that if you want something with a wood saw that's almost identical to this, just a little bit different in size, go ahead and check out the Victorinox Farmer. It has a wood saw in it, as well as these same other blades. So that's pretty much it. Just a quick, simple review. Victorinox Pioneer, I really like it. This is what I prefer to carry over the Cadet nowadays, just for the fact that I like having the larger handles, and it's just easier to use, in my opinion, for my uses. And I really don't notice that much of a difference, as I stumble over my words here, in carrying it, because like I said, I carry it on the side of my wallet, so it's not a big issue, the increased weight or heft of the Pioneer. But still love both of these, and I'm still going to carry both. But that's pretty much it. Just a simple review. Victorinox Pioneer. Here's a Cadet down here. If you guys were looking at picking it up, I highly recommend it. Other knives to check out are many other of the Victorinox models, but definitely look at the Cadet, as well as the Farmer and the Alox versions if you like those slim scales, which Victorinox definitely made a home run on. I hope they offer more models in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and as always, peace.